Welcome to the Conservative American with Chris Garcia. It's a good day to be an American. God bless us. Donald Trump is our president-elect, and we only have 69 more days of Obama as our president. So we're starting to fill the cabinet positions out now. Jeff Sessions is going to be our Attorney General. I think that is a wonderful choice, and I hope that they keep the NAACP and Black Lives Matter away from the nomination process. There are already the liberals are talking about what Jeff Sessions said over 30 years ago, and they hounded him when he was appointed by Ronald Reagan, wanted to appoint him to a position, and it didn't go through because the NAACP attacked him for some racist statements that he was supposed to have made over 30 years ago. I think that that's ridiculous. And I think that I hope the Republicans in the House and the Senate push through immediately his appointment to Attorney General. General Michael Flynn has been pegged to be the National Security Advisor. He's a 3-star general, and he works under Clinton and Obama presidencies, and he supposedly has a good track record, and he's very aggressive towards ISIS. So I think that that's another good appointment for Donald Trump. And he pegged Kansas Representative Mike Pompeo as the CIA director. We've heard good things about him as well. Trump is going to meet with Mitt Romney supposedly this weekend at a Trump golf course in New Jersey. And I think that, again, that just goes to show you the kind of person that Donald Trump is. He's the kind of person that, whether you're a friend or a foe, if he feels like he can make America great again, and you have positive things to do as far as the United States of America, he will appoint you to a position. So I think that people are saying that he's just having this meeting just to be nice and bring Republicans together. But I don't think Donald Trump is that kind of a person. I think he's the kind of person that he doesn't waste his time. And when he meets with you, he is either considering you for a position, or he's already in his mind made the decision that he wants you to take that position. So I don't think that this is just a friendly meeting. I don't think that he would invite him to his golf course and it not be a serious meeting. I think that he is looking for Mitt to have some position in the administration. Mitt Romney did some good things for his state. I don't think that he is a leader on the stage as Donald Trump. I don't think that he was going to be president of the United States. I don't think he's that good of a politician. But I do believe that he did some good things financially, and even his health care, which was very similar to Obamacare. That's one of the things that they attacked him on. He couldn't attack Barack Obama too much because Mitt Romney's own health care plan for his state was very similar to that of Obamacare. But once again, it shows Donald Trump the kind of person that he is, because even when he met with Barack Obama, there are parts of Obamacare that he wants to keep as part of his thing. He wants to definitely repeal and replace Obamacare as it is. But there are parts of Obamacare that he is interested in keeping as long as it benefits the citizens of the United States. And I think that that's what Donald Trump is all about. I think he's all about doing whatever is best for our country, and I think he can put his own personal feelings aside. I was watching last night on Hannity. It's been on the last couple of nights. It's just ridiculous, liberal. Some of these colleges, they were at Tufts University and some of these other colleges, and these students are literally crying on campus. They have to have cry rooms for them to go in and let their emotions out because they are so distraught that Donald Trump is president. Give me a break. That's ridiculous. These kids didn't even vote. They just want to protest. They just want to get out of taking their exams. And once again, where are the parents? These universities aren't cheap. They're $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a year. Some of these these universities, and yet your kids are going to cry rooms because they didn't win. What happens when things in life are tougher than that? You know, it's not as if they were running for president. There were two candidates. Both candidates love the United States of America. I don't doubt that Hillary Clinton loves the United States of America. I know Donald Trump does. They just had a difference of opinion in the direction that we should take our country. And I, of course, agree with the direction that Donald Trump wants to take the country, and I disagree with what Barack Obama has done, and I disagree with the policies that Hillary Clinton wanted to put in. But that's life. You don't always win everything that you go out to do, and you saw Hillary give a very gracious consolatory speech to Donald Trump. She called him, she wished him well, and she said that the country needs to come together, and that if Donald Trump is successful, the entire country is successful. Barack Obama also did the same thing, except when he went to Germany, and then he apologized when he goes overseas for the United States, which he always does. He's an apologist president. But, you know, it's just amazing that, you know, they've got to teach these children, these kids that, you know, you got to deal with your emotions a little bit better than that. You're not always going to win everything, every race that you're in. You're not going to always win. And you don't, you know, they have aromatherapy rooms on these colleges. They have cry rooms on these colleges. They have to talk to counselors, you know, on these colleges just to get over losing an election. What's going to happen when they don't get the job that they wanted? What's going to happen when somebody gets sick in their family? You know, if you can't deal with this, how are they ever going to deal with real life? And that's these left-wing nuts. You know, these are the kind of children that they're producing out of these, you know, these colleges today and these universities. And, you know, we're paying for these colleges and these universities. The taxpayers pay for these state colleges, and we're paying. People are getting up every day and working 9 to 5. People are working overtime. People are working construction jobs and paying state taxes for these universities to have cry rooms so that 18 and 19 and 20-year-old young adults have a place to go cry when they can't deal with losing an election. What is the future of our country when these young people are our future leaders and they cry when they lose, when they don't get their way? I just think it's a shame. And you know, you got Black Lives Matter on these campuses screaming and yelling and saying that they don't care about how white people feel, they don't care about white feelings, and F you and F this. You know, where are their parents at? Where is the leadership in this country? Because the leadership doesn't start with Donald Trump. The leadership doesn't start with Hillary Clinton. The leadership doesn't start with your local police officers or your school teachers. The leadership starts at home with the parents. And, you know, I've been saying this for years that, you know, these left-wing liberals that allow children to be snatched out of their homes, that allow children to divorce their parents, that, you know, parents are not allowed to discipline their children anymore, which is totally contrary to the Bible. Of course, you're supposed to be able to discipline your children so that they respect you. Children are supposed to respect their parents. They're supposed to respect authority figures, and they don't anymore. And so, you know, we're reaping what we sow, you know, and that's the direction that this country is going in. And you have the family that is just being broken and just being torn apart. And, you know, there's no respect anywhere. That's why a lot of these children, when police officers come up to them and ask him a question, ask them to stop, ask them to, let me see your hands, put your hands on the car, give me your identification. These kids have absolutely no respect for authority figures, for police officers. And when you are a police officer and somebody reaches into their pocket and is not, you know, doing what you ask them to do when you give them a direct order, you are trained as a police officer to protect yourself. And I think that in many cases, that's what these officers are doing. They're just protecting themselves. And again, it's up to the parents to teach their children that when these authority figures are asking you a question, just answer the question respectfully. Show them your hands so that they're not afraid that you have a weapon on you or are going to garnish a weapon and hurt them because they just want to go home. But that's where the problems in this country, I believe, start. They start at home. They start with the parents, and we have such bad parenting today. That's what's going on a lot in this country. Is you have bad parenting, and we're starting to see it. A lot of these kids are 16, 17, 18 years old, and they're going out and they're protesting. Protesting what? They're not even of legal age to vote. They're going downtown in cities and throwing chairs through windows, jumping on top of cars. And it's past curfew. Curfew in most of these major cities is 10, 11 o'clock, and they're up all night long, marching up and down the street for what? Where are the parents at? And they're so tired the next morning from protesting that they can't go to their colleges or they can't go to their high schools and take the exam. They need the next day off to recuperate from protesting all night and tearing up the downtown areas in Portland and Seattle and Chicago and New York and Los Angeles. Is just ridiculous. And then when they get finished protesting, and when they get finished tearing up the city, and the next day when they wake up, they have to have a cry room to go cry in to get over the emotional trauma of Donald Trump being president. So for all you parents out there that are listening, get a hold of your children, get a hold of your families, because we're turning into a country of wimps. I mean, if you look at CNN and MSNBC and these liberal commentators who, coddling these children and coddling Americans and saying that, I don't know how we're going to deal with this. The world's going to come to an end because Donald Trump is president. Get over it. He won. He won against all odds. His own party didn't support him. How does that feel, Paul Ryan, this morning? You got to eat a lot of crow. But the good thing, at least we have a president, Donald Trump, president-elect, 69 more days. But we have a president-elect who I don't believe holds grudges. I don't think he forgets anything. But I think that for the betterment of the country, he lets things go, and he's going to work with Paul Ryan and the other members of the House and Senate who did not support him. It's how vindicated does he have to feel when he sits in Trump Towers, and how vindicated does he have to feel? I mean, you had the entire media against him. You had all these politicians against him. You had his home party against him. And, you had all these people against him. And yet he still won the election. And I think that that's just amazing to me, is, he's basically self-funded his own campaign. And he won he won despite of, nobody helped him. You cut on the news every day, I think 55 or 57 major papers and publications across the country gave him no chance, called him a racist, and all kind of different things. And, yet he still won. And the one thing he said, and we've been talking about it lately, he said, I never believed the polls. Donald Trump said he never believed the polls. And so I think that that's amazing, the faith that he had in himself and the faith that he had in the American people, I think, is incredible. I think that that was the most important thing, is the faith that he had in the American people. He knew that the American people would see through what was going on and still vote for him. And they call it the forgotten man and woman, and that's exactly what it was. I always say when you get outside these major liberal places, when you get outside the major metropolitan areas, whether you're talking about LA or Cook County or New York or Miami-Dade, when you get outside these Detroit, when you get outside these major metropolitan cities, and you get out into the rest of the counties and the rest of the country and the rest of the rural areas, this is a very conservative country. You go to the local truck stop, go to the local small town and sit in a diner. And I think that they always talked about this revolution, the Obama revolution. I think that this was the conservative revolution. I think that this was the Donald Trump revolution. And I don't think that the people in this country wanted to see, I was listening to the news the other day, and it was talking about how a mom is suing a hospital and her daughter because, her daughter is a transgender and they're giving her hormone pills. And they weren't consulting with the parent. And, how can a child go into a hospital and begin receiving treatment to change gender without the notification of the parent? The parents made the child. The parents took care of the child. The parents raised the child. They should be the first person that is notified if something like that happens. I know that when I was a child, the first person that was notified of anything that happened to me when I was in school or any place was my parents. And now the children have privacy rights. It's ridiculous. How do you have privacy rights for your child? You're not taking care of anything. You're not paying any bills. You are but at the same time, then, when the child does something wrong, the first person they want to blame is the parent. So it's a two-way street. I think that if you blame the parents for what is going wrong, then they should also have say-so in what that child is going to do with their body, with their future. A lot of these children are seeing Mrs. Bruce Jenner and Caitlyn, I'm sorry, but they're seeing what some of these Hollywood stars are doing, and they're just mimicking them. I mean, these are their role models now. There's nobody at home to tell them any better. They've taken religion and faith out of school. So now Mrs. Bruce Caitlyn Jenner now is their role models as they watch these 24-hour Kardashian marathons. These are their role models now. So now you have children growing up. This is all part of the left-wing conspiracy. You have these children growing up now that want to become these people. That want to become the people that they're seeing on TV. And they don't understand that, these Hollywood nuts that live out in California, they've got 10, 20, $30 million, so it doesn't matter. Whatever happens to them, whatever decisions they make, they still have their money and their lawyers and their gated communities to fall back on. But if you are a child and you're growing up in the rest of America and you don't have that kind of access to that kind of money, you are not going to be, I don't think, viewed positively if you make some decisions that they make. They're allowed to make those decisions because they're amongst their nutty friends in Hollywood. And so if they want to become transgender or a male or a woman or both or whatever they want to do, they can get away with it because they're amongst friends. They're protected by the police forces out there and their gated communities, and that's the way they live. But when you come out in the rest of the world, you're not going to be treated like that. And so, you have to leave that authority with the parents because the parents are the ones that know better. And they're going to sit their children down and say, hey, you had better think about the decision that you're making or that you want to make and not let these people on TV influence the rest of your life. This is a life decision that you're going to make, and it's going to affect you in every way. So I think that, it's just ridiculous, the role that the government has taken out of the home and taken the authority away from the parents, and they have no say-so in the decisions that their children are making. And I think that's been part of this Nancy Pelosi, Hillary, Bill Clinton, President Obama, this entire left-wing conspiracy is to get these kids to, think that there is no rules, there is no authority. You can do and be and say whatever that you want to say. And that's just not real life. You know, while the Chinese are sending their kids to become mathematicians, we're sending our kids to be transgenders. And I think that it's just ridiculous what's going on in this country. You know, we've got a lot of problems, and people need to take a break from the Kardashian marathon and realize what's going on out here in the country. There are real issues that need to be dealt with. There are people trying to put food on the table every day. There are people that are trying to send their kids to schools and have choices in what schools they want to send their kids to. There are just so many more important things going on than you know, these children that want to be transgender and they're watching Mrs. Bruce Jenner on TV. And you know, what kind of role models is that? Last time I checked, this was a Christian country, and you know, parents are to, you know, pick up a Bible sometime and read it with their kids, and share some values with them and some morals and some commandments. They need to share some things with their children and take them away from the 24-hour Kardashian marathon that just spews all kinds of ridiculousness every day on TV. I mean, that family is a joke, and they are not role models. And you know, you got these kids going out and buying their products and making them more money to spread, you know, their ridiculous ways of life. I think that we need to take back this country, and I think Donald Trump is not the whole answer. I think he's a step in the right direction. I think we've got a long way to go, but to normalcy, because I don't think this country has been normal for a while. And I think that we need to get back to normalcy. I think Donald Trump is a step back to being sane again and bringing some sort of values back. You can see the way he loves his family, and his family loves him. And I think that he's a step in the right direction to bring this country back to some sort of decency. And I think that, you know, we've fallen. You know, Hillary always talked about America still is great. No, America was, and he's going to make it great again. We have lost a lot of respect on the world stage. People see what's going on in this country around the world, and they've lost a lot of respect. We used to be leaders. We used to set the moral tone. We could stand on that. We were the moral leaders in the country and the world. And people used to look up to the United States. They don't anymore. We're not respected business-wise, financial, even military in some ways. We're not respected like we used to be. And I think that Donald Trump is a step in the right direction. But even staunch supporters of Mr. Trump, like myself, we have to hold him accountable, because he cannot go to Washington, D.C. and just become another politician. He has to go there and secure our borders. I was just talking to people the other day. What is it going to take? You know, some jihadists from Syria or Iraq to use the Mexican open border. Vicente Fox, shut up. You're the ex-president of Mexico. You have nothing to do with what's happening in the United States of America. Just have a tequila and shut up. You have nothing to do with this. And, you know, what is it going to take? Some jihadists to come over the border with a dirty bomb and kill 2,000 or 3,000 Americans. And guess what everybody will be saying? Build a wall. Build a wall. We need to build a wall. Well, isn't that what Donald Trump's been saying? To build a wall. Why do we have to wait for something to happen to people? We've become such a politically correct, reactive country that we have to wait because we don't want somebody to file a lawsuit. Well, go ahead and file your lawsuit. But if I see some people standing around in a metropolitan area or on the airport and you don't look right, I'm going to say something. You sue me all you want, but I'm not going to watch my fellow Americans get killed because I want to be politically correct. I think that's ridiculous. And I think that that's where we're headed, unfortunately. I think that something is going to happen because our politicians don't have the balls to back Donald Trump and build that wall and, you know, keep ISIS and keep these illegal aliens from crossing over into the border. You know, that's a poor country down there in Mexico, one of the poorest countries on earth. How much would you have to pay people to get on your side and smuggle in dirty material into the United States? It doesn't take much. these coyotes that smuggle people over. They don't get paid much. It's more than what they would get paid down there working. But it would take much for you to hire some people down there on the border to smuggle some dirty material for a bomb over to the United States. It wouldn't take much money for you to do that. So, we need security. We need more border patrol. We need to build the wall. And, I hope that we, the American citizen, as much as I am so happy that Donald Trump is our president-elect, 69 more days, I pray that he follows through on some of the things that he talked about doing, that it's not just talk, that when he gets in office, his first 100 days, I believe he needs to make things happen aggressively. I think that is your window of opportunity. He comes in, I believe, with a mandate from the American people, not from politicians and not from the liberal press, but he comes in with a mandate from the American people. And I think he needs to seize upon that mandate when he has the opportunity the first 100 days. I hope he comes in and hits them with everything he's got, forces the Republican Party to side with him, because the American people are not stupid. They voted him in for a reason. They want to see results. Paul Ryan said he wants to hit the ground running. He wants to work with Trump. This is their opportunity to push policies through. And you know what? If you don't, in 2 years, they'll throw you bums out. In 4 years, they'll throw Trump out. I hate to see that happen. I hope that he comes in. He got my support because of the things that he spoke upon. I think he spoke to the heart of the country, to the middle class, the forgotten people, the people who get up every day and bust their butt and work, or people that are looking for work out here because they don't want to be on these social left-wing programs that just make you lazy bums and sit at home and wait for money to come in the mail. I think that's why he got people excited to get up and get out and vote for him. I think he won a landslide. Wasn't it supposed to be the other way around? Or wasn't she supposed to win the Electoral College landslide? And we were all a bunch of racist people. I'm not racist. I'm black and I'm Cuban. And there's no, what position do you put me in? And I voted for Trump. I support Trump. But we're all supposed to be a bunch of angry Americans, with pitchforks and our Bibles and our guns. We were supposed to go out and take to the street after Trump was smashed by Hillary, Mrs. Bill Clinton. Or as my friend David Clark, the sheriff of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, would call her, Mrs. Bill Clinton. But that didn't happen, though, did it? And now we're seeing do as I say, not as I do, because now you got these nuts out in the street protesting. They don't even know what they're protesting. They don't have jobs. How do you protest? Do you have to get up in the morning and go to work? Or why aren't you at work? These are a bunch of unemployed bums that are mad because they see some of their social, programs probably going to be canceled or cut. And, these sanctuary cities, these people get money off of these illegals working in their cities. And, everybody's up in arms now because the gravy train is coming to an end. They're going to drain the swamp. And I think these people are scared. These people are scared of what Donald Trump is going to do. That's just the beginning. We have so much to talk about. I hope you enjoy my show. I'm going to be on, and it's just going to get bigger and better. We're going to have bigger and better guests on. This is just the beginning. This is a revolution. I think Trump is just the beginning. And I'm not afraid of that fight, and I know a lot of people that aren't afraid of that fight across the country. If you want to battle for America, we're going to fight you. We want America to be the country that is supposed to be, that God ordained it to be. God, country, family. That's what this United States of America was based on. And God bless our troops that are fighting to make America great again. And God bless Donald Trump. And only 69 more days to go of Obama. Isn't that wonderful? God bless you. Thank you for listening. This is Chris Garcia, a conservative American, and I will be with you for the next 4 years as we make Donald Trump one of the best presidents, and we hold him accountable that the United States has ever had. I will see you Monday. I'm on a 72.5 hour break. See you Monday at 1 o'clock, and you also can listen to me at 12 on Face the Tribune with Rolando Lorraine.